Dan, have you already set a mandate on how cold our next studio will be?
It has to be colder than this, right?
I mean,
I don't understand why our studio's so goddamn cold.
I thought it was because of you.
Because of you.
The equipment needs to be.
Yes, that's what it is. It's that equipment requires a giant air conditioner. But I don't know why that's cold in there. Because it's poorly designed.
We're literally venting.
Because usually vents are like at one area of a room, and this vent
It's
goes
everywhere.
around. We have a vent that just circles us.
It doesn't even look like a vent either. It looks just like a hole in the wall, and it's just like
Hey, vent.
coming down.
Look
My
like
nipple
a
is
vent.
so hard, I want to see if I can make a noise on the microphone with it.
Try.
Wow.
Well, you know what it sounds like?
I heard that.
It sounds like.
Let me try it.
Oh, that's a big nipple.
Bipple. How's this going?
Excellent work by all of you. Just to do
Put your nipple up to the mic again. Let me see what it sounds like. Your nipple's chattering.
I thought you were gonna go.
Hi, I'm Mike's nipple.
What, it's a vein?
I'm so cold.
You were born in it.
Let's hear Chris's again.
Amin as Mike's nipple.
All right,
What's up,
kid.
guys?
This is fun.
No, it's not.
I wanted to ask you about
My nipple?
what happened on First Take the other day with Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick and ESPN issuing an apology on behalf of Kendrick Perkins, but not Kendrick Perkins issuing the apology.
Yes.
Kendrick Perkins, in talking about Jokic, was implying and more than implying that there is racism involved in his winning 2 consecutive MVPs and headed toward a third. He said the panel of voters is all white guys, and ESPN had to issue an apology in which it told people, nah, we got the numbers all wrong. Again, Kendrick Perkins not delivering that apology. The thing that I wanted to ask you, immediately, this was seized on by the predictable people, Shitstain, Dan Dockich, turning it into, here's ESPN again talking about black issues and, in their opinion, talking about them poorly. And the thing that I wanted to ask you about, because Kendrick Perkins, while colorful and good on television, is not after George Floyd who it is that I want speaking on behalf of the center of my company and a centerpiece of that company, as Stephen A. Smith sits off to the side physically on something that got a ton of activity on the internet, Stugotz, because this stuff sells. Taking sides, you basically got 2 different medias in this country right now, feeding 2 different audiences. It's not one media anymore, and a lot of people will watch if you have that racial division and tension. And so Stephen A. Smith is sitting to the side of this thing that he has spawned, which is imitators. JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins are given the floor on his show, and right next to him have a pretty empty, meaningless, useless race discussion. Like useless. Insulting that would pass for television, but Sparks is enough. Sparks will do. And I'm just curious, I mean, outside of the funny of First Take will make you laugh all the time, do you care that this stuff is weaponized? And explain to me why ESPN, Stugotz, gets hit with woke when there wasn't room for us there, and the people who did that loudest aren't there anymore or are minimized. Like the people, Bomani, you don't see him anywhere. Jamel Hill's not there. We're not there. Like there aren't the platforms
You're
for
not
that
there.
there anymore.
I know the question was posed to you, but if you want a hot tag, I'll take a stab at it.
Well, I think it was Amin. He shifted to me midway through. I think the question was for Amin, but you can have it, Mike.
Let me go
Yeah.
because it's an easy talking point for the right.
Tag him.
It doesn't matter if it's actually real. It doesn't.
There you go.
It doesn't actually matter if it's real. They traffic in this. They quite literally traffic in this. If I don't recommend you do this for your mental health, but if for whatever reason you're on the Breitbart Instagram page, look at how many of their Instagram tiles are just Megan Rapinoe. It's just, there are certain triggers and grifts that work. And ESPN is woke. They want to make you feel bad about your beliefs. They're part of this liberal agenda. Like, it's just lazy. It's lazy. So,
But it works.
yes. And that's why they keep doing it. To answer your question,
Laziness works, Dan.
you're tagged back in.
You feel like laziness at television works for ratings? Because I don't
Just
think
in general.
I don't think that's an eternal truth.
It's bullshit that any decent opinion that considers people's feelings is considered woke. It's bullshit that any conversation about race is considered woke. I hate that word because it's just been totally co-opted the way that fake news was co-opted, because fake news wasn't that's false. Fake news was a problem that we had on the internet with people getting tricked by actual fake news stories, and now they totally twisted the meaning. It's just the grift, man. It's just the grift. ESPN bad, liberal agenda bad. We're not ESPN. They're literally trafficking in it because they're trying to present another side, so they have to prop up that they're renegades.
All right, but assuming it's not quite lazy and assuming it's more sinister than that and orchestrated, how do you find the facts that support your argument that ESPN is behaving too woke? Is it just that minorities are on television?
Yeah, Dan, yeah.
Like that? Is that
Dan,
it?
Dan, you said, how do you find the facts? Facts?
Facts never matter, man.
The hell of facts?
No,
What are you talking about?
facts
Facts?
don't matter.
You trying to send a paper to someone in 1995? What facts are you
But
talking about?
I'm asking you, if you're of this opinion that you're influenced, that it's not confirmation bias, that you have the opinion and then you hear it reinforced by shit stain.
It really is cute to watch you try to find the logic in this.
Dude, it's not that hard. It's again, Occam's razor.
Exactly, Hockman's razor.
They're doing it because they know their base has trigger words. Megan Rapinoe, like black people, race, like so. It doesn't. They don't have to. It's like there's a Family Guy
Disney.
episode. There's a Family Guy episode where Lois is running for mayor, and she's giving like these thoughtful answers to questions at the town hall meeting, and the crowd is like, I don't know, I don't get it, I want to have a beer with her. And Brian is her campaign manager. He tells her, look, these are stupid voters. Just keep it simple. And so she gets up and says, hey, what are you going to do about the water supply, the affected water supply? 9/11. Oh, everyone's like, yeah. And her answer to every question is 9/11.
Yeah.
And she wins the election.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And it didn't work out, but this was Herschel Walker's campaigin strategy.
Yeah. Like it's not hard, man.
Yeah, what logic is this? I don't know. Let's bring God back into these things, and I'm here to protect children's lives. Like the Herschel Walker experience was a fever dream of hypocrisy.
You live in Ron DeSantis' Florida. Like this is every day. Everything like the things they declare war on is like it's not hard. It's like what are things that like liberals seem to be about, or that our people think liberals are about?
It's a South Park episode from 15 years ago. They took our derbs.
And so there's no reason to parse the terrain of what are you seeing when
I'll
you
parse
look
it with
at
smart
your
people.
television.
No, I'll parse it with people who are well-intentioned and want to actually engage in a discourse, and who I feel like I have a modicum chance, a slight sliver of hope that I may be able to engage in conversation and change their mind, or at least shine a light on their hypocrisy to the point that they become slightly self-aware. I do not have that with certain folks, and that grift I do not.
I would say it's not even that, Mike, whether you can change their mind or not, as we see with the all the Fox stuff. We talked about it with Brian Stelter, right? Like they don't believe it either. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
No, they don't. Tucker Carlson just got caught off mic saying how much he passionately hates Donald Trump. This is the grift.
But that's the point. Like they don't. You're like, oh, if I could change their mind. There's no mind to change. They know what they're doing. They don't believe it. The bigger conversation, Dan, is where the danger actually resides. It's not that these people are just playing the same tune to make their people dance to. It's that there is a conversation to be had about ESPN and a race conversation that was done incredibly poorly. But the problem is, when we sit here and criticize it, the same assholes from the other side are gonna be like, yeah, see, even Le Batard and them think you guys are woke. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying that was a bad version, and that's done because it's funny you said, isn't that lazy? And I was thinking, what's lazy is what they did on First Take. That's what's lazy.
We're ringing the dinner bell for them right now. It's just they'll co-opt this. They'll make an easy argument out of this, and they'll feel attacked, and they'll make themselves a victim as somehow white wealthy people are the victims now. It's just it's just.
But isn't Kendrick Perkins there? Isn't he there to sit in the middle of all of that and simply say things that Kendrick Perkins? It's not his expertise on basketball that people are looking for, correct?
That's a job description initially.
But here's the thing.
He's a character.
Here's the there's another there's another layer to all of this. So ESPN hires former athletes not because they know the game better than anybody else. Some of them do. But the main reason you hire a former athlete, beyond like the name brand recognition that they come in with, is that you're wanting to know what players think. Like, honestly, this is not a criticism. I agree with it. Like, I want the player perspective. When Paul Pierce sat there on Countdown and said, if I played with Shaq and LeBron, I'd have as many rings as Dwayne Wade. Like, I'm just as good as Dwayne Wade. Everyone went crazy. Oh, how could Paul Pierce say that? And I'm saying, you don't know how many NBA players feel exactly like that. I know these guys. That's how they think. They think, like, yeah, Dwayne Wade's good, but like, come on, give me a break. He's not that good. I play with LeBron. There are a ton of players who don't have a fraction of the career that Paul Pierce had who think like that. So when Paul Pierce gets up there and says that, I'm saying, guys, this is how they think. You guys are like, oh, you're so dumb, Paul. But the reality is he's telling you from a player's perspective. What Kendrick Perkins said, reckless, incorrect, all that stuff, but there are a shit ton of players who think like that, man. Like, that's not an out there opinion, and that's the only reason why Kendrick's there, because he says out there opinions. He says things that a lot of players think, but either don't have the platform or the proclivity to say out loud.
Let's bring in Brian Scalabrine here. He's the co-host of the Starting Lineup. It airs weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., Sirius XM NBA Radio. Where was your confidence level, Brian? Thank you for being on with us.
No problem.
Are you like Amin says, were you out there saying to yourself, if only I had the opportunities, if only politics hadn't gotten in my way, I would have been Dwayne Wade?
Better than Dwayne Wade.
I think the opposite. Like, I would think, how lucky was I to play with Jason Kidd or Kevin Garnett? If I wasn't with those guys, I would not be on your show right now, and no one would be talking about the White Mamba.
All of that said, though, you can still go to a Y anywhere in the world and totally dominate, correct?
That gap is closing. I'm getting older, and I'll tell you, these kids are getting better, younger and younger, man. They're good. So I would say 10 years ago, 100%, but not as much anymore. You'll be surprised.
All right. Did you ever do that? Tell me the time that you went in and felt best about yourself because people were underestimating you for whatever reason, and you just started throwing down dunks in a gym somewhere.
So the difference is I actually don't feel good about myself. I think it's like a foregone conclusion. How could anybody actually think that you could beat me? It's mind-boggling to me. So I go in those games like, this is another one of these examples, like this is a joke. But here's the thing. Like, I'm a pro athlete. I don't think I can hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't think I could tackle a running back or guard Gronk on an out pattern. But for whatever reason, people think, oh, I could do that when it comes to NBA basketball. I find it surprising, and it kind of makes me lose a little bit of faith in common fans that evaluate basketball.
See, Scal, the funny thing about all of this is that people always are I don't know why you're the poster child for this sort of challenge, right? Like, I could score against Scal, or I would give Scal buckets or whatever. But this is you as an NBA player. My question is, prior to being in the league, what was your experience like playing basketball? Was this something that followed you throughout your basketball playing career prior to being an NBA player?
So I'll tell you a real quick story. I went to Michael Jordan's basketball camp after my first year at USC. George Raveling told Jordan to draft me on his team so we would play the college kids after camp. Jordan, I'm hearing this conversation. Jordan said, "Come on, Rab, the white boy," and Rab said, "Trust me, he's really good. You're gonna love him." Mike said, "If I don't love him, it's on you." I played like the best basketball. Mike stamped me the whole week. From that point on, I mean, like my confidence was off the charts. So yeah, I had a lot of confidence in myself, and it was built off of like little moments along the way. And I think that's a hard thing for people to understand. I wasn't in high school and then the next day in the NBA. There's like hours and hours and hours of playing and going and playing at UCLA with Magic Johnson. And I'm in all those games. So of course you're going to realize like this guy's a lot better than me. But you make a few shots in a game, like that builds confidence. And that's what people have to understand. There's hours of work in basketball against elite people who you watch on TV and you think are like superheroes, where you're like, blocking out a guy and getting a rebound. So you start, building confidence in yourself like that. Now, I never thought I was going to be in the NBA until I went to Summer League. And I realized, like, you know what, dude, I'm better than a lot of those guys.
Guys, I don't want to make any claims or any things, but
Jesus, here we go.
I think the haters have one. I always want the smoke with everybody. There's somebody I do not want the smoke with, and that's the White Mamba. I've seen what he can do on a basketball court. Me versus him.
He doesn't know who you are. This is not a compliment.
I'm setting it up for Dan, Amin, and Stu, the haters.
You've played against him, or you just
no.
watched him play basketball?
I know his game. I've seen him embarrass people that are very good, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good.
Mr. White Mamba,
I could do it to Amici, but
he thinks he can beat John Amici.
No.
Exactly. Thank you, Scal.
No.
It's a bit of leading the witness here, Mike.
People think I'm like I'm 6'2" or something like that. Man, I'm 6'9".
Agreed. People think I'm 5'8". It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Thank you.
Stop talking to him like he played the NBA.
It bothers Brian, and it should bother Brian that the people watching this, studying it, talking about it, cheering for it, don't actually understand it. That they don't understand how good this human being was at basketball.
Fully agree.
Yeah, but so there's this thing that came out on Instagram the other day where Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were talking to Brad Stevens about how it used to be in Boston when we were there. And so Paul Pierce is like, yeah, man, we'd get here early, play one-on-one. And Brad said, like, yes, who were some of your toughest games? He was like, man, Tony Allen. So we all like, yeah, of course, Tony Allen. Then he was like, yeah, Scal, man, he was tough. It was tough to go against him every day. And I would go to practice and play Paul Pierce one-on-one. I'm like his practice dummy, right? But just think of what that does to you as a player. You're going against like a guy, or I'm guarding Kevin Garnett in practice. I'm not getting smoked by these guys. So what do you like when a normal person comes up to me? What do you think I'm thinking? Like I've gone against the best. Well, I'm not going to be afraid of anybody else outside of that.
But in Tony's defense, he's going up against a 42-year-old Carlos Arroyo at the Y.
And Fab Mello.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, by the way.
High school.
Fab Mello.
Stood tall in that 2-3. Tall.
True.
One of it, true. He says, yes, it is.
Thank you. Scal, the White Mama stamped me just now. Thank you.
No, he did.
Hashtag
He
real
stood
hoopers
tall.
know.
He did.
Real hoopers know, baby.
He did. He stood tall in the 2-3. Everybody knows that. Scalabrine, please, because I've heard so many great and crazy Kevin Garnett stories that he's a lunatic, that he's simply not sane. And I want some of your best ones. Can I have a good one?
Sure.
Garnett story of he's really nuts.
Well, there's one story in particular that stands out. Like we were like for whatever reason, it was our 2008 team, and everyone was arm wrestling for whatever reason. That team was like borderline psychotic. But so the Big Baby, it was clear that he was the strongest guy. Like he was by far the best. He was crushing everybody, embarrassing people. I think he hurt Eddie House's shoulder. That was an issue all year.
Why was Eddie arm wrestling?
Of course, Eddie was. Was.
We're egotistical maniacs. That's who we are, right? So that goes along for like a week, and we're on a plane. I think we're coming back from Toronto, and Kevin Garnett says, "All right, man, I got you, Funk." And I'm thinking, I don't know why you said that. And then we're going to arm wrestle. Like KG and Big Baby are going to arm wrestle on the plane. And so they sit down, and I believe in Kevin Garnett. I will run through a wall. I think that dude can help us win. I think the world of him. If he says he's going to do something, I believe him. But for whatever reason, I did not believe, and nor did anybody on the plane believe that Kevin Garnett was going to beat Big Baby. Like it's physics. Like Big Baby's 350 pounds. Garnett is, 250. And so Paul Pierce stands up with the money, right? And he's like, I got all bets on Kevin Garnett. So I don't even gamble. I pulled out my 10s, my 1s, my everything. I put it on Big Baby, right? Like, all the money was on Big Baby. So Paul Pierce has it must have been $10,000, $20,000. Guys, if you feel like there was free money out there, you would jump on that. So, all right, we got all this money on the plane. We got these two guys about to arm wrestle. And the arm wrestling starts, and KG just stares at Big Baby and doesn't move. And Big Baby's trying to get him down. And Garnett's kind of like stone-faced, not moving. He's like, I ain't moving, Funk. I'm not moving. And he kept saying that. And Big Baby kept trying and trying. All of a sudden, Kevin Garnett goes, there it is. And he starts to move. Big Baby starts getting worried. Man, he arm wrestled him. Paul Pierce is picking up all this money, and he's like, I got the money. Kevin Garnett stands up, and he's drenched, sweating, and he turns around on the plane where there's kids on the plane and media people and everything. Turns around and it's like, I'm the alpha male in this blankety blank. I'm the silverback gorilla in here. The whole plane was going nuts. The coaches were there watching. It was insane, but it's a great example of his will. He should not have won, but it's hard to beat him because his will is something I've never seen before.
If this were a heist movie, though, it would now be revealed that Big Baby Davis was in on it and got 40% of the money.
Instead, it's over the top.
Instead, it's the Sylvester Stallone arm wrestling movie over the top.
So Dan, the funny thing about this roster has the highest concentration of crazy personalities on one team in NBA history. Listen to this.
Scott Pollard.
Scott Pollard. Scott Pollard is quote unquote a mild one, right?
Well, let's have him vote here. Let's have him rank them.
Let me just say the names.
There's a lot of crazy.
Let me just say the names.
Right, yeah.
Ray Allen, right? Different dude. Tony Allen, crazy. PJ Brown, different dude. Sam Cassell, hilarious. Glenn Davis, hilarious. Kevin Garnett, insane. Eddie House, hilarious. Kendrick Perkins, hilarious. Paul Pierce, insane. Scott Pollard, insane. James Posey, insane. Leon the Showboat.
Rondo.
I'm getting there. Gabe Pruitt, who I don't know is on the playoff roster or not. And then Rajon Rondo, and then, of course, Scal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at Scal. Are you the only normal person? And you're not normal, by the way, but you might be the most normal person on this roster.
Don't judge me until you hoop with me, man. You don't really know me. Everyone thinks they know me. Listen, I'm a happy guy. I smile a lot. I do all that stuff. But ask anybody who has hooped with me what I'm like, and they would tell you that I'm cold-blooded, man. I had to be that way to make it. I'm not making it unless I'm a little psychotic. So I'm kind of like that too. And by the way, you know this. In the NBA, there's good crazy and bad crazy.
Right.
If you put enough good crazy together, it's a melting pot of pretty successful people. Now, there is an expiration date on good crazy, but not that year. We probably felt like if Garnett didn't get hurt in 2009, we would have won again because that just had this it was the elite competitive guys and everyone one-upping each other. It was egotistical maniacs in a positive way and not a negative way.
The Heat and Celtics have had a lot of legendary battles last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. They met up again, and there was some local debate as to whether or not that Jimmy Butler shot at the end, that pull-up three, was a good shot. But every Celtics fan or former player that we've had on has revealed that they were really terrified when Jimmy Butler pulled up with that shot, which has convinced me that that was a good shot. White Mamba, was that a good shot?
Yeah, that was in the NBA, doesn't that shot drop? When that shot went up, didn't you expect it? And Jimmy Butler, who's not a great three-point shooter, don't you expect that to drop? So, yeah, I was terrified. And by the way, the Celtics had a 13-point lead that disappeared in a minute 34 seconds. So, yeah, I was terrified. And, one thing about Miami, Spoelstra, I don't care what happens this year, they're always going to be ready for the playoffs.
Let's do this with Scalabrine. I remind the audience again, co-host of the starting lineup. It's weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, Sirius XM NBA Radio. I'm going to ask you the top 3 craziest guys on that roster going 3, 2, 1, however it is that you want to do it, but you have to start with the third one. From all of those names, you don't need them recited again, right?
He knows who he
all
played
right,
with.
number 3, according to Brian Scalabrine, number 3 craziest on that roster was?
Well, you have to ask. I want to know. You want the good crazy or the bad crazy?
All right, we'll do 2 different lists.
Let's do lists.
We'll do 2 lists.
Yeah.
Do
We'll
the good crazy first.
We'll do
Good crazy.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Rajon Rondo. Sly. Good crazy.
Number 2.
Paul Pierce is good crazy.
Number 1.
Kevin Garnett is good crazy.
All right. And now the bad crazy. Number 3.
Tony Allen could be bad crazy.
Number
Starting to
2.
kick my ass.
Scott Pollard is bad crazy.
I told you.
And number,
He is. It's good to know.
And
Yeah.
number 1, bad crazy.
Big baby's bad crazy.
Thank you, Brian. Good seeing you. Good talking to you, sir. One more question on your way out the door.
Was Paul Pierce faking that injury against the Heat 08?
Well, I know this. When guys sprain their MCL now, they miss 6 weeks. That dude missed 6 minutes. So you can take it how you want to take it. You got people want to make fun of him getting in a wheelchair. Give me the wheelchair and coming back 6 minutes later. And dude's missing 6 weeks. And what's talking about is he ever going to come back?
Thank you, Brian. Good talking to you.
See ya.
Yeah, I have a hockey stat. I gave it on the podcast yesterday, but it won't be up until tomorrow, I think, or later today at some point.
We should steal the hockey stat. Let's do it. Let's beat the podcast to press with the stat of the day. Let's do it right now.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Thank you for turning on original sound so I could hear the music. Also, Chris Whittingham, not here today. Chris Cody in his place. Chris Cody genuinely grooving along to the music during that.
I mean, of course,
Like
he would.
genuinely, like
He's a
feeling
showman. He's a great producer.
Producer.
it. Folks, here's a hockey stat for you. Ready? The Boston Bruins, my beloved Boston Bruins, have lost by more than 1 goal 4 times all year. 62 games, only 8 losses, and only 4 of them by more than 1 goal. That's got to be a record. I don't know how to look it up. 'Cause I don't know
Wait a
anything about
minute.
hockey,
That's
but
got to be a record. Is not a sufficient stat
It's
of
your
the
job
day.
to look it up.
What do you mean? That's
It works for me.
That's got to
Yeah.
be a record. Is not sufficiently official.
That's me looking up a hockey stat. It's just me saying it's got to be a record.
Okay, that's not.
I
Put
love
it up
it.
for me.
It's not empirically, scientifically
you.
sound. It is lazy for an intern trying to impress people and make his way through the company.
Let's get the 2 many men ladies on here. I'll bet they could. They have the resources. I don't have the resources. I'm just one intern. I can't subscribe to ProHockeyReference.com on the meager $0 salary you pay me.
We pay
So
you a
I'm sure
salary.
someone else
We pay you a salary, a legitimate salary that you turn around and give to Ron McGill. Don't say we don't pay you. Meadowlark Media is paying you.
Buy baseball cards with, too.
You're
If
not
only.
working for
That-
free.
Thanks to you, people keep sending us cards. We've gotten like thousands
Oh,
of
man.
cards in the
Yes.
mail from
I got a
fans.
Princess
I
Leia
have 15
card.
Cordell Stewart cards now in my work bag.
Wait,
Brittany
how
is
are
a
they sending
princess.
them to you? Just in packs? or
In packs, of
individual
course.
cards?
They think we'll
In the
like.
mail.
Like I got an Eddie Murray Mets card. It was delightful.
I got all
Yes.
Chargers players. 'cause I
Someone
was
sent
a
me a
Chargers
Jim
fan.
Harbaugh Bears quarterback card.
No way.
Yes.
I have a Shaq, I believe this is his rookie year card, a rookie year Shaq.
I have been holding the card of Franklin Stubbs for 3 days, 3 straight days here.
Oh wow.
I have been holding this card.
You got that card?
Yes.
Wait, how
Oh,
is this
God.
the first I'm hearing of this? This is incredible. This is my final revenge on you.
We've been
people
getting
for making me do
nonstop
this.
cards. Actually, you know what? We're probably bringing back the USPS because of this segment now. All of that,
You're
all that
welcome.
postage.
Jimmy
Nobody sent
Jackson.
me anything in the mail, by the
No?
way.
No, I think there's one in there for you, actually.
Except for Bill Lawrence. I was defending your honor, Mike Schur, at the Super Bowl in front of everybody. He sent me a shirt with Parks and Recreations written on it. And the back says, "Suck it, Bill Lawrence." During Black History Month. Ain't that a bitch?
Mike, I don't know if you know this. I have not informed the audience of this. The group thought that Stugotz today was taking a much-earned day off, but we learned that he simply needed to be near a microphone if the Jets could possibly get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He wanted to be around a microphone if it happened because Mike Greenberg has offered a pinky toe in exchange for getting Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
He said he would consider cutting off his pinky toe. I countered with, I'd consider cutting off my head. I mean, how about that?
you re-upped
Bishop to Rook 9.
Yeah, exactly. Your move, Greeny.
How would you be able to watch the games?
Don't worry about that.
I'm just considering. That's all.
What are you talking about? His head. Just watch the games.
It would just be a severed head on the living room floor that would fall over every time it threw a pick six. It would just fall on its ear. I saw it too, incidentally, as it's hard to make content sometimes during March, that Colin Cowherd came up with his top 7 quarterbacks in the NFC chart.
Ooh, what were they? I think I'm in on that.
I was trying to do that the other day. Get out of here, Colin.
Top
Jeez.
7 in the NFC. He opens with Stafford. Number 1 is Stafford. That's not number 7. That's number 1.
Whoa, what? That's number 1?
That's
number 1.
That's number
Yeah.
1.
He's playing the game wrong.
All right, now I've got to do it. Now I've got to do it for everyone. Unfortunately. Number 7, Geno Smith. Number 6, Kirk Cousins. Number 5, Derek Carr. Number 4, Dak Prescott. It might have been a top 8. Number 3, Kyler Murray. Number 2, Jared Goff.
Wow.
Tied with Jalen Hurts. I think I did the numbers wrong.
Tremendous work.
Thank you, Mike.
And number one is Matt Stafford.
That's right. Number 1 is Matt Stafford, a list of the top 7 quarterbacks, or top 8 maybe, in the NFC.
I'm not even certain Deshaun Watson's in the top 7 in the AFC. It's crazy.
I think that's the most worthless list of things
That's
that
a great
anyone
one.
has ever compiled. The list, Colin Cowherd's top 8 NFC quarterbacks on March 9th.
I thought you were a fan of this show.
Tony's had some
Shocking.
doozies.
I got a couple bad lists. That's cool.
I was gonna say I thought Cal Ripken's career was the most impressive list of things compiled that were worthless.
Can we talk about something before I go? One of your coworkers, Amin El Hassan, bullied me yesterday. Just straight up bullied me.
Did not.
It was not funny. It was not fair. I didn't appreciate it. He was at the Heat game, and he started texting me videos of Jimmy Butler taking free throws and narrating them and talking about how it was the most beautiful basketball that's ever been played, and this was the apotheosis of what the NBA could be. There was like 4 or 5 long videos of just Jimmy Butler at the free throw line.
I don't know.
Not like it.
Look, Mike asked me if I was watching the game. I said I'm actually at that game, and so I thought he'd appreciate kind of live updates, coming straight from a basketball expert at the game. And so I picked some highlight plays that I captured on my phone, and I sent them to him with some expository background information, and I thought he'd appreciate it.
Mike,
And
I
for
know
the record-
what apotheosis means, but my brother Tony don't know what apotheosis means.
Yeah, I missed that
Can
class,
you break that
actually.
one down for us, big bro?
You got it. But listen, this is important. When Amin and I were texting, he was like, "You're missing a lot of like Okoro missing jumpers and stuff." And I was like, "I'll bet Mitchell is having an off day too." And I gave his imagined line for the game, which was 6 of 18 from the floor and 1 of 8 from 3. His final, I was not watching the game. It was in the middle of the game. His final line was 6 of 17 from the floor and 1 of 7 from 3. I got it within one shot of being exactly correct.
He that's even crazier. As at the time he said 6 of 18 and 1 of 8, I was like, no, it's just 6 of 15 and 1 of 5. At that exact moment when he said that, it was impressive.
You guys want to read any more of your text exchanges, private text exchanges that you guys had? Or do you want to answer the question that Juju asked you on behalf of Tony, what apotheosis means?
Also,
it's a good story.
Bro, what the hell going on with your hair today, bit, bro? Like,
You got like
your
the
shit
emo
swoop.
thing going on the right.
Yeah, it's a little. It's
Oh, wow.
Oh, I love
thought there was
it.
something
Out of
behind him.
place, yes.
I thought it was something behind him, like a shadow.
that's-
Oh my God!
God, you're a different
Put it away,
person.
please. Put it away.
Who is that?
Apotheosis is just like apotheosis is the highest possible point, the ultimate.
The
epitome,
apex.
The apex. There you go.
Yeah.
So we could have just used Apex.
Highest possible achievement.
You guys
Jimmy Butler,
realize-
the free throw line.
That Mike Schur can commit crimes and then just comb his hair back and no one will ever know it's him.
Do you realize that this is largely audio on a Thursday?
Nah, they
and
get
I'm
it.
you're
describing
doing
it.
this?
I'm describing it to the people.
Subscribe to the LeBatard and Friends YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
go over there and check that out. See Mike.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
Look,
I think Dan was objecting to the way you described it.
flock of seagulls.
See you later, Mike. Flock of seagulls. A nice modern reference.
Good
Put it on the
reference by
poll,
Amin.
please. Put it on the poll, Juju, at LeBatard Show. Have you ever heard of Flock of
Oh,
Seagulls?
everyone's heard of
Come
flock
on,
of seagulls.
Dano.
Yes, that one song.
I'll be a number one with a bullet. I never got caught back by any bullet.
Why does Mike look like he's about to rob a McDonald's?
He looks like a referee.
He does. He's
Where's
just,
the flag?
He's
Yeah.
stolen a game from Fred Van Vliet.